5. So today we're going to recall what happened on the decks between the three of our main characters. We're going to start our diary writing today of chapter 7 and the incidents on the deck that we have read and studied the past few days. Okay, so we are going to start our diary writing today. We're going to break it down into 3 days so that we can all put in 100% effort into each point that we are going to discuss. Okay, so first of all, just wanted to recap the features of a diary and they must be included in our diary writing. So we've got first person, past tense, describing words, direct speech, chatty language, describes thoughts and feelings, adverbials for time, and addressing the diary. So keeping those fresh in our mind to make sure that we include them in our diary writing today. So I've first of all looked at his emotions. I've looked at Ethan's emotions and recalled them from last week. Now I've attached a part of the text today, which is the part we're going to write about first. So during the whole of chapter 7, as when Ethan makes a presence on the decks, I find that he's a bit confused by Beanie. He's a bit disgusted by Stella. He doesn't really get on with Stella. He's angry when she dumps the snow penguin on him, annoyed because he has to stand there and listen to their conversation, annoyed at what Stella did to him, a bit judgmental as well when Shay comes to the rescue in the end. Okay, so I've thought about Ethan's emotions, which is a key point of our diary writing. Okay, we are becoming Ethan. We are writing as if we are Ethan because we're going to be writing in first person in his perspective. But what we need to do is make sure that we understand those emotions that he could be feeling. Okay, so here's a little timeline that I've created of the chapter to help us write those today. We are going to be focusing on these 2 today, then these 2 tomorrow, and these 2 on Wednesday. So breaking it down into 2 points of the story to our writing on one day. Okay, so the ones we're focusing on today is Ethan being spotted by Stella and Beanie, and when he approaches Stella and Beanie whilst they are playing with the snow penguins. Okay, so these 2 are the ones we are going to be writing about today as Ethan. Just pop this on to have a little recall of what happened. Okay. He wore his black ocean squid robe and had the same superior expression on his thin face as before. His pale hair was brushed back straight, his collar was pressed and starched, and even here on the ship he looked immaculate. Stella felt the same prickle of dislike she'd felt before, but remembering her promise to Felix, she said, "They're snow penguins. Do you want to join us?" Ethan's lip curled. "Aren't you a bit old for building snow penguins? They're more like snow lumps besides." He flicked a gloved hand towards Beanie and said, "Who's that?" "This is my friend Beanie." "You can't be serious," Ethan replied, already curling his lip in disdain. "What's your real name?" "Benjamin Sampson Smith," Beanie said, but the words came out so quietly they were technically snatched away in the wind, and Stella felt obliged to repeat them. Stella could tell Beanie was feeling anxious because he took Aubrey back out of his pocket and started to fiddle with the wooden narwhal. "I'm Ethan Edward Rook," Ethan said, looking pleased with himself. "I'm a magician, you know." "I like jelly beans," Beanie said, desperate to make a contribution to the conversation, but not quite sure how he ought to go about it. Ethan gave him a puzzled look. "Doesn't everyone?" So taking those 2 parts from the beginning of when Ethan joins in the conversation with Beanie and Stella so that we can use those to help us with our diary writing today. So I have here written a waggle for us to have a look at. This is just for those first 2 events on our timeline, okay, so that we're focusing on those 2 today. So we'll have a read through it and see what we can spot. So, dear diary, today was a day of confusion, annoyance, disgust and anger. It all started when I came across that rude daughter of Sir Pearl, Stella, or Smeller as I like to call her. She was playing with some strange bean-loving fool. They were playing with snow penguins, and everybody knows you are most definitely a baby if you still play with them, diary. Unfortunately, the 2 penguin playing babies spotted me on the other side of the deck, which was annoying, so I had to go over to them. Stella introduced me to this boy called Benjamin. What a strange boy he is. Let me tell you, Diary. He prefers to be called Beanie. What sort of name is that? Stella tried to get this boy to introduce himself to me. You'll never guess what he blurted out. He said, I like jelly beans. Like that was the way to properly introduce yourself. Immediately I had to conceal my laughter. You have no idea how hard that was, Diary. So let's look back at our features. We get a highlighter from up here. And I'm going to pick first person to start off with, okay? The first person we're looking for I, me, I've, things like that. That's quite an easy one. So we've got I here, I, and I'm not going to pick them all out, but that is a good start, okay? I'm going to have a look at my past tense if we go on to another colour. Oh, still yellow. Hang on a second. We want a different colour than yellow. We want the green. There we go. So we've got past tense. So we're looking for ED words, things that show it happened in the past. So started, blurted, introduced, spotted. So again, we've got those words there to show it's in past tense. Have we got any direct speech? If we skip on to direct speech, have I included a little bit of that? So let's have a look. Have I done that? Yes, I have. I've quoted what Beanie says in the book, which is exactly what he says. So there is my direct speech. And the last one I'm going to look at is thoughts. I'm going to look at thoughts for this one. So, have I described my thoughts and feelings as Ethan? Straight away, I've gone in with confusion, annoying, disgust, and anger. I literally shout them out right at the beginning. I've got annoying, which is also a feeling, okay, or a thought as well, because he's finding him annoying. I address the diary plenty of times. If we go back off on this one, if we look here, I say, let me tell you, diary. And I also say, you have no idea how hard that was, diary. Have I used adverbials for time? Now, I'm going to underline those ones as they are important. So, have I used adverbials for time? So, I've got today. I've got it all started when. I've also got unfortunately. I've also got, have I got any others? Immediately as well. So, I have included quite a lot of the key features, okay? So it's over to you guys now. I want you to write your version of the two events that we are focusing on today. If we go back for you, we are focusing on Ethan being spotted by Stella and Beanie, and Ethan when he approaches them and sees them playing with the snow penguins, okay? So good luck, can't wait to read them. Don't look at mine and think, oh my goodness, there's so much to write. It just looks a lot on mine because it's a bigger screen and obviously it's typed as well. So have a think, take your time with this writing and become the character of Ethan. Don't write it as if it's you. You are Ethan in this situation.